All right, gentlemen and lady. Today we are going to be recapping my entire VDC season. So VDC ended the 25th of May, and now it is currently the 14th of June. So safe to say, some time has passed. So I'm going to be going through rounds 2 through 6, really giving a recap of each round, what I felt about them, how I did, etc. You might be saying, what about round 1? I already made a video only on round 1. You could check out. I'll leave it linked right here. I don't know how that works. Maybe I'll figure it out, but I'll leave it linked right here. So without further ado, let's hop right into things with qualifying from round 2 at VDC Heartland. So, Heartland, I honestly don't remember too much qualifying wise. I know I was freaking out after my first run because I didn't do too hot. The cutoffs for VDC are consistently over 90 points, but this run I'm seeing right now honestly isn't too bad. I think I got like a 93 or a 94 around there, which put me mid pack. I remember. I think I qualified in the lower portion of the bracket, so like bottom bottom portion, so like high teens, low 20s. I honestly forgot, but let's hop right into the 32 battles. So my mistake, it appears that I qualified in the top half of the bracket because I am leading first against Ethan Manima. So as you saw there, he gave me a little bit of a shunt into the first corner, which if anything, it did help me. I was really worried going against Ethan here. His car was very, very fast throughout the entire season, even the last round when he switched to that A90 Supra. But this S15 is pretty special in a certain way, and I'll explain it real quick after this run. But I laid down a pretty heat of a lead run, but he also laid down a pretty good chase. So when we switched it around, I was chasing. I knew I had to lay it down here. And why this S15 is so special, it's essentially like a Porsche Cayman. The center of gravity or the weight distribution of this car is 4654. So it is very weight biased, where 4% of the total body weight is more so directed in the back of the car instead of it being balanced. So it's very fast on the straights. That's why you saw him gap me down the front straight. But I ended up getting the win here just because of his shunt and a little bit dirtier of a chase and not as clean as a lead as myself. So after that battle with Ethan, my bracket did not get any easier. I was up against the legend himself, Reese Tatterson. And if you do not know who Reese Tatterson is, you are living under a rock. One, he's blown up on Instagram the past few months, going from like 1,000-ish followers to over 40,000 in the past year. And he was the one who won Drift Masters back in 2021, and he was able to drive Peter Vincek's S15 FD car. So super sick guy, nicest guy you'll ever meet. However, he is a ripper. So I had to lay it all on the line, especially because I was chasing first. He did outqualify me. He was looking good all weekend. So after coming through this first corner, I was like, I got to glue it to his door, and I made a bobble. You cannot do that. That is some bad driving I did right there. I was really nervous I was going to drop a tire in that outer zone, but I was all good. And then I kept about half a car distance the entire time. He did have a little bobble there, addition of angle, all good. Overall, this chase, I'm there proximity-wise, but overall cleanliness is not there. I was bobbling all over the place, not a super great run on my point. So now you're going to see my lead run, and it is a little bit controversial. It's up until a point, you'll see it when it happens, but right here, come in, Reese is all over my door. At this point, advantage is all to Reese. I'm laying down the best lead I can, but his chase is just so much better than mine. Not as outside as I should be in that outer zone. I'm really outside in the wall. He does the same thing I do here. I don't add additional angle, so it's about even right now. Now here, he hits me, throws me offline. I'm going to get to why it was so controversial there. Then I added angle because it just threw me off, and he straightens out. Now, let me tell you something about this right here. What happened here is a shared fault, in my opinion. More so, you could blame me for it. Honestly, I would blame myself for it. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be the bigger man here. So when we're coming through here, I'm going, and usually I downshift here to keep my revs up because it's a turbo car. I don't do it this time, and the car bogs down a little bit. I have acceleration, I have momentum going into this corner, but it's not normally what I would do. I am bogging down. I bogged down a little bit and low key stall the car. I have to kick the clutch to get the revs back up to get going again. And as you can see, my momentum is slowing down here, right? It's not as like I'm pushing through, it's like stagnant momentum, which is why Reese ends up hitting me, right? Now, who knows what could have happened here if I didn't get hit? I could have straightened out. I could have gotten the car back going, had a big correction. It could have just been I slowed down a lot and he gets right to my door. However, he does hit me. It's just a weird spot. It was a weird situation. There was some controversy within the team. Alan, the man who has his name on the side of his door, Mr. Hines, he was a little mad. He was a little mad at me. He thought I, flubbed the battle, which I did not. It was sheerly an accident, but I did end up getting the win. However, I mentioned Alan right there, and you'll see something very funny in the coming minutes. All right, so as I said, a very funny thing would happen because I mentioned Alan. In the top 8, I was against Reese's teammate, Mr. Alan Hines. Alan was a man on a mission this round. He kind of got effed over in qualifying. He didn't have the best runs. He qualified 22nd. Not very Alan of him to do. So he was driving angry. He was trying to get on the top spot of the podium. He ended up getting a position I'm not going to tell you because that would spoil what happens during this battle. But let's just watch this lead run of mine. From what I could remember, Tanner, you're way too loud. From what I could remember, this was a pretty good lead run, but he was all over me. Again, he was a man on a mission. He was trying to prove these judges wrong. I dropped a little bit of a tire there. You saw the dirt kick up, but he was a man on a mission. He was trying to beat me because I just beat his teammate, and B, he was trying to beat the judges, like, judging because he didn't do too hot. So he just laid down an absolutely killer chase run on myself. Then when we move to my chase run, I am getting told in my ear, you gotta lay it down. So essentially, I lay it down. I mean, this chase run was probably the best run I did all day. I was on him throughout every transition, everywhere. I was just on him, just trying to shadow him as much as possible. Here, you want to be close because that camera switch, judges judge off the replay cameras. So I was closer than I have been all day. It was a super, super clean chase run. I thought it was really good. His lead wasn't as clean as mine, but his chase was way better than mine. So it did end up going to Alan Hines. So essentially how the standings were looking after this round, I think I was anywhere from like 8th to 6th around there. Top 16 in Portimao, which was round 1, but qualified 2nd, so got a decent bit of points there. Qualified mid-pack this round, finished grade 8. So I was in a good standing going into the next round, which is Pascani, but let's just say that round didn't go to plan. So Pascani is a massive track, really different, not very technical, just full balls to the walls the whole track. I didn't like this track at all. I think the first few corners were fun, but then it was a huge slowdown in the last corner, which I did not like at all. I ended up qualifying 16th, which put me in the top left of the bracket. 16th and 17th is probably the worst place to qualify because what that usually means is like you're mid-pack, you're feeling all right, but if you win your top 16 battle, more than likely you're going to go against the person who qualified first. So that's very fun. But yeah, qualified 16th, and I went against Ethan Pikachu, who is anything but an easy battle. So during top 32, I went against Ethan Pikachu, who is in a 2AR powered Nissan Z. This dude freaking rips, and he is always scary to go up against, especially since he switched to a Simagic direct drive. He's just been laying it down. So had this lead run, I'm like, I just got to lay it down. I just got to see what happens. Just absolutely sending it through the course. He doesn't do anything wrong, though. He's on me the entire time, and it's basically even. That bobble actually puts it more towards Ethan's advantage, so I'm kind of sweating a little bit here. Apologies for this clip being in 360p. I don't know why it is, but it it is. So you're going to see potato cam version of me just putting a chase run down. So if you could kind of see, I'm there with him throughout this first corner. I'm just trying to stay with him. You know, it's so easy for the lead to drive away here without the judges noticing. As you can see, he pulls about a car gap there. I just huck the angle, trying to catch back up, in which I do. However, here's where things go a little south. I end up just absolutely yard sailing him into this wall. Actually, that wasn't as bad as I remembered, but they ended up deeming Ethan at fault there because if we could see here, he ended up just absolutely backing it into this corner, which you cannot do. They did not want you backing it more than 90 degrees into this final corner, just because that will disrupt the chase driver. You're just driving at, normal angle, which is that 50 to 70 degree mark. You just huck it in, throw as much angle as possible, hope it could catch, and it does catch. It's not predictable, and it will throw the chase driver off. And that's what the judges deemed. That's what they said. They gave me the win here. And then I had to go against number 1 qualifier, Artem Cholkov. All right, so top 16 against Artem Cholkov. I really, I respect Artem. He's really stepped it up since last season. It's gotten a lot better. Podiumed. Actually, he won the first round, so he's come out swinging. He was driving an RX-7, didn't do well round 2, switched to a G87 M2. Actually love the way this car looks. Switched to a G87 M2 and was once again out for blood. Now, I will say a lot of people dog on him just because of the way he drives. I respect how everyone drives depending on your driving style. But, I see where they're coming from. Just from the region he's from, which is Ukraine. There's that RDS style of driving, but that's besides the point. We go into it. He qualified first. I qualified 16th. So that means I am chasing first, and I had to lay down a pretty sick chase run. So we come in. I'm just on the door. I'm trying to not let him get away, and guess what? I do not. He does not get away. I am right there at this point. I have a couple little bobbles there, which I'm not a big fan of looking back at it. So advantage is going towards him, and here advantage is full to him because I just slam into him again. I slammed into someone else. What am I doing? In my opinion here, from my point of view, he was very slow, right? He was carrying a lot of momentum. He slowed down a lot there. I should have given him more room in transition just to let him slow down, but I want to be aggressive and go for the biscuit. Because I did that, essentially what happened was I killed him. So in the lead here, I had to lay it down and hope he messed up. But spoiler alert, he didn't. He laid down like the best chase run of the day. So yeah, ended up losing in the top 16. Coming out of round 3, I was sitting 11th in the standings. It was not good. I was like, well, my championship hopes are pretty much gone at this point. Sitting 11th in the championship round 3. I even dropped a tire there. Just seal the deal. Hey, I freaking lost. But yeah, and sitting 11th. This was round 3, so halfway point was the next round in Silverstone. But because of this halfway point, I ended up turning things around. And you guys are about to see some good stuff here. I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far because this video is sponsored by myself. I'd like to formally announce that on July 1st, I will be dropping the greatest Assetto Corsa car community in existence. Now, it's sadly not going to be free. You could join the free Discord down below. However, this community is not going to be free, and I'm going to tell you everything within this community because there is so much jam-packed into it. The amount of value is absolutely insane. First things first, private Discord access. That's very, that's a given, as well as private car servers to drive with professional drivers and esports drivers in these servers. And not to mention, the tracks will be changed every 2 to 3 days, not every 2 to 3 months. Next thing, car pack release. So there's going to be an initial car pack with 6 cars, and then after every single month, there's going to be an additional 2 to 4 cars of pro cars and street cars added to the pack. So lots of value coming in the months to come. Next up, we are going to have 2 courses on things that are very important and very particular to this audience that a lot of people ask me. So 2 courses that are going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 videos, as well as a tuning course that will be coming in the later months. I'm still planning that out. Still got to record the videos for that, but a tuning course is to come. Not to mention there are going to be tunes for all the cars and all the packs. Every single month you're going to get a tune for the cars. And the best thing, every single week, we will have weekly coaching calls with myself and either a professional esports driver, a professional real life driver, or an industry leader within the car space. So if you are interested, and I hope you are, mark your calendar, July 1st. Join the public Discord to be notified of when it drops. But I am super pumped for when that is going to release. And I can't wait to see you inside. Let's get back to the video. All right, so VDC Silverstone, I was low-key feeling myself this round. You know, first lap out on this track, I was like, you know, this track is kind of bumpy, and I'm not a big fan. But after a few laps, I was dialed in, ready to go. Like lap 3, I'm like, I want to qualify right now. And just notably, when I do that, that is when I qualify the best. So doing this run, I got a 97.5, which actually landed me 4th in qualifying, which is crazy to think that a 97.5 lands you in 4th. However, some good points on the board, but yeah, landed in 4th overall for qualifying. Super solid run. I once again went against my good friend Ethan Pikachu in the top 32, and let's just say things didn't go super smoothly. Top 32 against Ethan Petraku, aka Pikachu. I need to lay it down in the lead because this dude is good and his car is fast. And this is another fast track, so I had to be as fast as possible. Tuning wise, really dialed in the car this round. Had a setup that actually works with how the car is just set up physics wise and tire wise. It was feeling really good. Absolutely laid it down in the lead run, but Ethan is right there the whole time. So, people in my ear, my spotter was telling me, hey, you should probably lay it down in the chase because he just absolutely doored you in his chase run. And because you know I got that dog in me, I just had to do it for the fam. So came out swinging about a car length back and clipped the front clip there and had to pull out some angle. He did drop a tire there, but yeah, overall this chase wasn't the best. Not the best of how I wanted to put down a chase run. He was showing out. You know, he was showing out. He was looking scary. I had a bobble there, which wasn't great, especially from the replay cameras. You could very much see that I had a terrible bobble. Another bobble as well. So things were not looking up here. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I thought I was gonna lose this battle. However, because of my good lead, he had not as good as a lead. He had a better chase. We just ran it one more time. Now, when you run a top 32 battle one more time, it's kind of scary because you're like, well, I was hoping this was just top 32 and I could just, you know, lay it out and win. Ethan unfortunately has a big mistake in his chase run. I don't really want to watch my chase run because I lay down a pretty good chase run, but I do make a mistake. I dropped a tire there, but he has already messed up, pretty much zeroed. He straight lined through the first corner. At this point, I just need to finish out the run. That's actually why I made a mistake. A spotter said, hey, finish out the run. I don't like when anyone's talking when I'm driving. I like to be in the zone, auto zone. So messed me up a little bit. However, thankfully his mistake was big enough to where that little mistake I made didn't offset it too much. So I ended up winning that. We're not going to watch the next battle. Top 16 landed me against Danielis Peringakis. I don't know how to say his name. IRT team. They came out swinging this season pretty much. He was at an E36. Love me a good E36 with a mass V8 yeah, he laid down a pretty good chase run. Wasn't there entirely with the mimicking side of things. They're pretty much shadowing me, but had to cut lines in places, had to cut angle in places. So moving into my chase run, I did have the advantage just because I laid down a pretty solid lead. All I had to do was do about a 7 out of 10 chase, and I pretty much had that in the bag. And in doing so, I laid down a pretty solid chase. Came in, was right on his bumper in initiation, about half a car back, which is where you want to be. He has a little bit of a bobble. And yeah, at this point, all I have to do, keep it clean, keep it behind him. I do have a bit of a line check up there, which isn't great, but still having a cleaner chase than him. I transition right on him, literally inside his door, saying what's up to him, dabbing him up while I am driving. But yeah, I ended up getting the win here, going into the top 8 against Robert Kowinski. Mans is always on tear. Robert, you cannot mess with him. I think he got 3rd or 4th overall last year, so he is a force to be reckoned with. So top 8 against Robert. He is on me, and it's scary, and I have a little bit of a bobble, so we're not looking too hot. However, he does sacrifice a lot of the line. He's right on me. He hits me multiple times this run. He hits me about 6 to 7 times. It was crazy. I thought I was going to fly off track, but his car is a lot bigger than mine, right? I'm in a Z. He's in an RCF. That car is humongous. So following something smaller is rather difficult. I wasn't the fastest at this event. I did that on purpose in the lead. I just had to lay down good lead runs. And he slams into me last corner. So advantage to me. At this point, all I got to do is just lay down a pretty good chase. And I just go balls to the walls for no reason in initiation. But yeah, didn't want to leave anything up to the judges. I just need to lay down the best chase I possibly could. Keep it clean as well. Don't hit him. And here I was really feeling the groove. Like this chase run, I was like, yeah, I could win this event. I was on him through bumper transitions. He was in a big car, you know, colliders, all that good stuff. But I was essentially just on him the entire time, laying down a textbook chase run, which ended up getting me the win going against Brandon Patrick in the top 4. And for some reason, we're in 360p again. However, moving into the top 4, I don't know why it says top 8, but top 4, I got a little too excited because I realized all of the boys or the people I knew from Forza moving into Assetto, we were all in the top 4. Reese Tatterson, Zach O'Sullivan, Brandon Patrick, and myself, we all came from Forza and we're all in the same friend group. So it was really cool. I was super hyped. Ended up making a little bit of a mistake in chase. Now, in the judge's eyes, what I did in entry wasn't that big of a deal. And then I was just on him throughout the entire run, like super close there, mimicking angle. It was a really, really good chase. But because of that little tiny mistake in the entry, I ended up sacrificing way too much. So I'm not even going to, do anything. I'm just going to show you what happens. Again, in 360p, what are we doing here? But yeah, 360p. Whatever. But yeah, went way too wide, dropped the tire. That ended up costing me the win into my first finals. This was my first top 4. And yeah, ended up just biting off a little more than I could chew. Really stupid mistake on my point. Brandon ended up beating me, which was like the 4th time he's beaten me. And because of that mistake, I ended up going against defending champion Zach O'Sullivan in the 3rd place battle. So I had some stuff cut out for me. So again, for some reason, we're in 360p. I don't even want to watch the next run because it's in such low quality, but this chase run ended up deciding the whole thing. Zach is a fantastic driver. I'd say one of the best alongside Alan Hines. Him and Alan are just absolutely monsters on the sim. Essentially, my chase run won this battle. As you can see, that transition was insane. And this one, watch this, super, super solid. He went a little wide in places. I had a pretty clean lead run. I ended up getting 3rd, which was super, super hype. We had a pretty sick 4-man. I'll lay it up here if I don't get lazy with the editing. But yeah, I ended up getting 3rd this event. Great momentum into round 5 at Ebisu Manami. Alrighty, Ebisu. Now, qualifying was a bit of a doozy. And before we get going, hope you guys are enjoying the video. I know this is a long one, but I hope you're enjoying this type of content. Let me know down below if you do. But qualifying was a bit of a doozy. As you can see, this first score is not the best, a 91.7, especially in VDC terms. That is not good. I ended up qualifying 27th with a 91.8. So the day before, I qualified for Drift Masters, in which I did not qualify. Car wasn't feeling good, track was inconsistent, etc., etc. All the excuses. I was not feeling good, so confidence was at an all-time low moving into qualifying, to say the least. And I ended up nearly biffing it getting into the last 16, but I ended up just scraping by getting a 91.8, landing me in 27th. And top 32, I thought I was done there because I was going against the one and only Darius Ostrika. And once again, we are going to watch this in 2P. However, I messed up there in the initiation. I low-key cut Darius off. However, it didn't mess him up. He did use more track than I thought he would, but I laid down a pretty solid chase run. I thought I was done at this point. I'm like, well, there goes my weekend. I tried my best. My confidence is at an all-time low, and looks like things aren't shaping up to be how they want to be. However, I laid down a pretty solid lead run. One of the best I've laid down all day. And his chase, as you can see just from the beginning, wasn't as aggressive as mine. And the judges deemed that not to be my fault. he should have been more aggressive. And because of my little hiccup in the beginning, me tapping him didn't mess him up. If anything, it messed me up more than him. I ended up getting the win, which was extremely surprising because, yeah, as you can see, he was not as aggressive as I was. He was playing a pretty safe chase. Ended up biting him in the butt, which really sucks. It really could have gone either way. I think Darius is a great driver, but I'm really happy I moved on. So next up, I lined up against Lazam. Lazam is a legend in the VDC space. He's been around since the very beginning, I want to say. But yeah, in his S14, he does have lag issues, which I was well aware of. So in my chase, I want to give him, a solid 3 feet of space at all times, just in case he did lag. I didn't want to chance anything. But as you can see, I was laying down a pretty solid chase run. And I was actually really happy I qualified low. I do prefer chasing before leading, especially at this track. This track eats tires up, right? So if you could chase first and then lead, you can use your extra tire to your advantage. And yeah, pretty solid chase overall. Lights go on and off we went. I just initiated into the first corner. And yeah, I was just ready to get at it. And I laid down a pretty solid lead. His chase wasn't as aggressive as mine. He had to cut some corners here and there. But yeah, overall, super, super solid lead. I was starting to feel my groove again. Same way as Silverstone. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it now. I feel like I can make an impact this round. And yeah, just doing super good here. I would always drive away from people just because I could carry more speed than others. And yeah, I was feeling really good this round, debuting a revised Z. Low wall tap there. But yeah, ended up getting the win here, moving on into top 8. The top 8, I was against Nick Hang. Now, I had to lead first because he qualified 30th. I qualified 27th, which was kind of surprising. So what I did as a little secret tip, I lowered my boost by 10% just to have some tire life in the chase so I could get right on him. Now, I was slightly worried, hey, is this lowering pressure? Is this going to mess me up? However, I'm glad I took the risk because I was able to get through the course just fine. He was on me the entire time, but I was able to lay down a pretty saucy lead run. And again, he wasn't as aggressive as he should have been. Didn't have as much angle as he should have. As you can see, he's very shallow in angle through those last couple zones, actually. And here, able to drive away from him a little bit and just absolutely send it in this lead run. Super, super solid lead run. Nothing really to complain about. And his was a little sloppy of a chase, but super great driver Nick Hang is, and now we get to see me chasing him. So in my chase against him, I, kept that low boost pressure. He does a very, 3-motion entry almost. It was just a lot. A lot was going on, right? But yeah, I really just laid it down. Nothing really else to add. I was matching angle, transitioning on the bumpers. I was just there, and I was looking to win. Little bobble there going into that outer zone. I was a little offset here, hoping he didn't drive away from me. But yeah, transition through the smoke. I am right there on his bumper, pretty much tapping his door at that point. I wasn't, because that's dumb. You want to be always separated. But yeah, super solid chase, super solid lead. End up getting the win. And again, going against Brandon Patrick in the top 4, just like Silverstone. And as a bit of a spoiler alert, I ended up losing again to Brandon Patrick. It really comes down to this chase run, and I want to analyze it with you guys here. Bit of a bobble. I actually hit him. The camera doesn't show, but I did hit him. And I wasn't really matching angle throughout all of this chase. I was on him. Like, transitions were the best, but as you can see there, I was looking like this instead of like this when I was chasing him. Judges noticed that, and that's ultimately what led me to lose. But I was there, right? I wasn't hitting him here. I was just grazing the collider with my front tires. But yeah, ended up losing and going against Ernestus Jacubelis in the 3rd place battle. Now, Ernestus has been an absolute dog since the beginning of the season, right? Couple podiums, not so great rounds, but he's a real force to be reckoned with. So I knew I had to lay it down. So transitioned everywhere I need to. I was matching angle. I took offense to that, Chris, okay? Took offense to it. I'm like, I need to match angle. As you can see, I'm matching angle. Again, sorry it's in 360p. I don't know what's going on, but matching angle and everywhere, not letting him get away. Little bobble there, slight mistake, but overall, super, super solid chase for me on Ernestus. And really, his chase run was what gave me the win. Now, in his chase run, he did make a slight mistake. He essentially just hits me here in the front tire, and yeah, I end up washing wide. He ends up straightening out. I did nothing wrong there. That was all on him. Judges deemed that as well. So ended up giving me the win and another third place. So back-to-back podiums. And currently, at this point, going into round 6, I was sitting third overall, looking to get a podium overall in the championship. However, the people sitting in 4th through 6th, it was only a 20-point gap. So things were a little tough. But I was looking ahead rather than defending, which bit me in the ass. Alrighty, tidy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm tired. I've been filming for about an hour and a half, but we got the final round here. Qualified with a 96.5. I'll spoil it. Qualified 7th last round at the Drift Mansion. This track was super, super fun. Super different. Lots of bumps. Very fun. But yeah, and it ended up qualifying with a 96.5. Moved in this round sitting 3rd overall. Unfortunately, where I qualified, all 3 of the people who were competing for 3rd overall were in that bracket. So whoever won the bracket got 3rd overall. But yeah, ended up qualifying 7th. So we were in a good headspace. We were feeling good. I love this track. It's super fun, super technical. It's a lot different than other tracks. But yeah, want to lay down the best qualifying I could. 96.5 was the best I could do. And yeah, it was time for battles. So during battles, as you can see, things got a little sketchy because the staff played God, which isn't a bad thing, but the track temps dropped about 10 degrees Celsius and it turned nighttime. So my car gripped up. Now, there were 2 things I could have done. Could have taken the risk and changed setup, put less grip in it because it was already super grippy and hard to drive, or just leave it as it be, thug it out, and see what happens. And for some odd reason, I chose the latter, and I decided to thug it out and see what happens. So I was against Brandon Williams, VDC veteran, and unfortunately, because of his chase run and his lead run, they weren't super clean. I ended up getting the win. So going into 16, I'm like, well, there's a decent bit online. 3rd overall in the championship would be pretty cool. What should I do here? And again, I decided to thug it out. I was practicing on a friend's server. It all felt fine. And I was just like, okay, I'm going against Darius Ostraka in the top 16. Absolute menace. Really, really good driver. I just need to beat him, essentially. I don't know what I need to do, but I just need to be fast, try to beat him, lay down the best runs I could, and yeah, see what could happen. He ended up qualifying lower than me. I had to lay down the best lead run I could, and you'll see during this run, and again, 360p for some reason, that did not happen. Too much grip in the car. I was trying to essentially just run the best line I could, but I was getting in my head about trying to be as fast as possible. So low-key, I was trying to run away from him, but he was just on me the entire time. I mean, this is a fantastic chase run. But yeah, ended up messing up here, cutting this line just terribly, and I ended up leaving this outer zone way too late. Way too early, and ended up messing up. Not to mention, whoever won this would go against Ernestus, who was the determining factor of if I got 3rd place overall. So Ernestus is his teammate. If it's his teammate, gonna let him win, get 3rd overall, of course. So at this point, I am at a disadvantage. I just need to lay it down in the chase. And to say the least, I did, but I was way too aggressive. So this entry was friggin' phenomenal, I would say, right? Now, his chase run, he was there, but he wasn't super aggressive. So I was just trying to be close and as aggressive as possible. In certain places, I didn't realize how slow he was. So here, he was on the left foot brake. He was really slow. I had to take some angle out because I thought I was going to hit him. And that right there, that segment only, and this segment, as you can see, I'm shallow on angle. I'm thinking I'm going to hit him. That is what bit me in the butt and essentially made me lose this battle and lose 3rd overall in the championship, which is super, super unfortunate. Still got 4th overall, just not that 3rd that I really wanted. Top 5 this season was the goal. With that said, 4th overall in the championship. Pretty happy with it. I was a little bummed, but now I'm really happy. Thank you guys for all the support throughout the season, all the nice messages, support in the chat. I really do appreciate it. If I didn't have support, what's the point? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. stay tuned for what's to come in the coming months because I got some sauce cooking up. It's going to be so insane. But yeah, stay tuned for the coming months. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did. Comment down below what your favorite moment of the season was, or if you hate me. I don't really care. Comment down below. It really helps the channel out. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned because we got some sauce. I can't even fathom the type of sauce we got. But stay tuned. Take care. See you guys next time.